welcome back to our channel, where we dive deep into the latest dramas of Genoa City. Today is a beautiful day to unpack some truly explosive revelations on the young and the restless. Grab a comfortable seat and prepare yourselves, because the Winters family is about to face a storm unlike any other, filled with dark medical conspiracies and shocking family secrets. The atmosphere in Genoa City has been deceptively calm following the harrowing medical crisis that nearly claimed the life of Malcolm Winters. Kane Ashby, currently in the delicate stages of physical recovery, has been basking in the profound admiration and renewed affection of the Winters family. His supposed sacrifice, offering his own bone marrow to save Malcolm from a fatal battle with aplastic anemia, painted him as the ultimate savior. Lily Winters, overwhelmed by a potent mixture of relief and rekindled love, has looked upon Kane with a deep, unwavering gratitude. The family believed they had successfully navigated a terrifying medical nightmare, securing a miraculous second chance at life for their beloved patriarch. However, this fragile peace is merely an illusion, a beautiful facade masking a labyrinth of unprecedented deceit that is about to shatter their reality into a million jagged pieces. Malcolm Winters makes his triumphant return to Genoa City, his body slowly regaining the vibrant strength that the illness had so ruthlessly stolen from him. The initial reunions are filled with tearful embraces and profound expressions of joy. Malcolm, carrying the heavy, emotional burden of a man who has stared death in the face and survived, publicly and privately expresses his deepest, most sincere gratitude to Kane. He views Kane not just as a former son-in-law, but as the literal anchor tethering him to the world of the living. Yet, beneath the surface of these emotional celebrations, a subtle, creeping tension begins to take root in Malcolm's mind. Despite the overwhelming joy of survival, an inexplicable sense of unease begins to gnaw at his intuition. A primal instinct warning him that the narrative of his miraculous recovery is fundamentally flawed. This seed of doubt blossoms into a relentless psychological torment for Malcolm. The medical timelines, the specific nuances of his physical recovery, and the hushed, evasive conversations he observes around him begin to form a disturbing puzzle. He experiences the agonizing internal conflict of a man questioning a miracle, feeling a profound sense of guilt for doubting the very process that saved his life. However, his survival instincts, honed by years of navigating complex family and corporate betrayals, refuse to be silenced. Malcolm begins to sense that the official story of the bone marrow transplant is missing crucial chapters, and he becomes consumed by a desperate, quiet need to uncover the hidden truth behind his salvation. The focal point of Malcolm's growing suspicion lands squarely on Dr. Stephanie Simmons. As the leading medical authority overseeing the transplant, Stephanie's usually impeccable professional demeanor begins to show severe, undeniable cracks. The immense psychological weight of a monumental secret is visibly crushing her. Her interactions with Malcolm and Kane become fraught with a nervous, suffocating energy. She avoids direct eye contact. Her explanations regarding the postoperative care become overly rehearsed and clinical, and she exhibits the classic signs of a woman desperately trying to maintain a dam that is on the verge of a catastrophic collapse. The heavy, toxic atmosphere of her hidden guilt permeates every room she enters, further fueling Malcolm's relentless drive for the truth. Unable to shake the terrifying feeling that his life has been manipulated, Malcolm launches a clandestine investigation into his own medical history. Bypassing the standard hospital protocols, he leverages his resources and connections to dig deeply into the highly classified, encrypted files surrounding his bone marrow transplant. The process is a heart-pounding journey into the dark underbelly of medical ethics. As he meticulously cross-references the donor logs, genetic markers, and surgical timelines, the horrifying reality begins to materialize on the screen before him. The data presents an undeniable, terrifying anomaly that threatens to destroy everything he thought he knew about his survival. The devastating discovery hits Malcolm with the force of a physical blow. The irrefutable medical evidence proves that Kane Ashby is not the true donor of the bone marrow coursing through his veins. Either Kane was completely bypassed in the final surgical moments, or a secondary, highly classified donor was utilized to facilitate the actual life-saving procedure. The shock of this revelation is absolute, leaving Malcolm reeling from a profound sense of betrayal. He realizes that his entire family, including Lily and Devon, have been living a fabricated reality, celebrating a false hero. The psychological implications for Kane are equally staggering, leaving Malcolm to agonize over whether Kane was an unwitting pawn in this medical theater or a complicit actor in a monstrous deception. As Malcolm digs deeper into the redacted files, the sinister identity of the true secondary donor begins to surface, plunging the narrative into a terrifying new depth. The donor is not a benevolent stranger, but a dangerous, shadowy figure with deep, lethal connections to the criminal underworld, or perhaps a bitter, historical enemy of the Winters family. The terrifying realization washes over Malcolm that this transplant was never an act of medical charity. It was a calculated, cold-blooded investment. Malcolm is now bound by a biological blood debt to a monster, a ruthless benefactor who undoubtedly intends to leverage Malcolm's life to collect on this debt with devastating, catastrophic interest. Driven by a mixture of furious betrayal and existential terror, Malcolm corners Stephanie in a secluded, claustrophobic room at the hospital. The confrontation is explosive and emotionally charged, the air thick with years of unspoken history and immediate, visceral anger. Malcolm presents the undeniable evidence of the medical fraud, systematically dismantling Stephanie's professional defenses. Faced with the irrefutable proof of her deception, Stephanie experiences a complete psychological collapse. The intricate web of medical and personal lies she has so desperately maintained unravels before the man she once loved, reducing the authoritative doctor to a trembling, desperate woman. In her frantic defense, Stephanie is forced to confess the agonizing motivations behind her dark actions. She reveals that she deliberately manipulated the medical records, the donor logs, and the entire transplant process to protect someone deeply important to her. She details the agonizing moral compromise she was forced to make, trapped between securing Malcolm's immediate physical survival and the looming, lethal threat of the underworld donor. The psychological toll of this impossible choice has ravaged her sanity, forcing her to violate her Hippocratic oath and betray the trust of the man whose life she was desperately trying to save. However, the confrontation takes a sudden, breathtaking pivot from the medical conspiracy into the realm of deeply buried, catastrophic familial secrets. Malcolm reveals that his return to Genoa City was not solely to express gratitude, but to finally settle a massive, unresolved chapter of unfinished business with Stephanie. The suffocating tension in the room reaches a boiling point as decades of suppressed romantic history and hidden truths bubble to the surface. The conversation shifts from the bone marrow in Malcolm's bones to the legacy of his bloodline, culminating in a confession that shatters the very foundation of their shared past. The bombshell revelation drops with devastating finality. Stephanie and Malcolm share another child, a secret offspring kept entirely hidden in the shadows for decades. The profound psychological shock paralyzes Malcolm as he realizes a massive piece of his own legacy, his own flesh and blood, has been concealed from him. This revelation introduces a terrifying, unknown variable into the already fragile Winters family dynamic. The existence of this hidden adult child rewrites the history of Malcolm's life, forcing him to confront the staggering reality that the woman who just saved his life through deception has also robbed him of a lifetime of fatherhood. The labyrinth and twists of this family tree become even more terrifying as the implications of this hidden child expand. A staggering, almost unthinkable possibility emerges from the chaos. The revelation heavily implies that Cain Ashby and Holden Novak could potentially be half-brothers. This convoluted intertwining of destinies threatens to rewrite the entire social fabric of Genoa City. The emotional devastation this revelation will bring to Lily, who has loved Cain, and Devon, who is already battling his own familial demons, is immeasurable. It forces a complete, painful reevaluation of every relationship, loyalty, and alliance within the Winters and Newman spheres. Watching this storyline unfold evokes a profound sense of heartbreak and subjective frustration that is difficult to shake. There is a deeply genuine, visceral sorrow in seeing the Winters family, a legacy historically built on profound love and unyielding resilience, continuously torn apart by layers of toxic deceit. It feels incredibly tragic and emotionally exhausting to witness Malcolm, a man who has fought so valiantly for his very breath, realize that his survival is chained to a dark, underworld debt and a fractured, light-riddled family tree. The emotional weight of these betrayals resonates on a deeply personal level, reminding us of the incredibly fragile nature of human trust and the devastating, generational consequences of secrets kept in the misguided name of protection. It is a painful reflection on how the desire to save someone can sometimes be the exact mechanism that destroys them. Now, this hidden adult child looms on the horizon as an active, vengeful threat. This mysterious figure, potentially already hiding in plain sight within the borders of Genoa City, is driven by a potent, dangerous thirst for revenge and a desperate, agonizing need to claim their stolen identity. The Winters family, already reeling from the shock of the medical fraud, must now brace themselves for an unprecedented war. The combined, terrifying threat of the ruthless underworld donor calling in their blood debt, coupled with the unpredictable wrath of a vengeful, forgotten sibling, sets the stage for a catastrophic conflict. This impending collision threatens to consume not only the Winters family, but also the powerful Newman dynasty, promising a saga of retribution and revelation that will change Genoa City forever. Stay tuned, because the fallout from these secrets is guaranteed to be absolutely explosive.